Hello there, welcome. This is Mbaise USA Decides, and my name is Ambassador Cliff Ayozie. Today we have another special guest, a guest aspiring to occupy one of the leadership positions of Mbaise USA. He's a man that has served Mbaise for years now, currently occupying the position of the Deputy Board Chairman, Board of Delegates of Mbaise USA. Currently also the president of Umunna Wike Mbaise Association of Austin, San Antonio, and also the president of Ezelakohu USA. It's my pleasure to welcome Honorable Cliff Opara, who also holds a master's degree in public health with specialization in health policy and administration. Honorable Cliff Opara, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ambassador, for having me.
Well, my colleague, now Sopara, will not be able to make this interview today. So we're going ahead to interacting with Honorable Cliff Opara. When we talk about Honorable Cliff Opara, we would like to start on a softer note because you know yourself better, you know your own person, how you want to define yourself. How would you want to tell people who Cliff Opara is?
Thank you for such an opportunity. My name is Cliff Opara. Middle name is AGK, and I define it as having an easy life. That's what my middle name stands for. I graduated from Jacksonville University, where I obtained a bachelor degree. Later on, I obtained a certification in cytology from Grady Hospital in Atlanta. Then I obtained another degree, which is a master's degree in public health with concentration in policy and administration. The reason I said my middle name, I always take it serious, AGK Mowa. Life is too short, and I believe in what you can do for your people. And that makes my life to be an easy going life. Because when you identify with the people, you identify with God. But
well, an easygoing life indeed, because we have a lot of grants to cover. Now you've been the deputy board chairman for 2 years, and I want to believe that that is defined by experience. Let's have your understanding of the board of delegates and its workings in terms of the mandate, what is expected to achieve for Mbaise USA. What's your understanding and workings of the Board of Delegates as an arm of administration?
yeah, the board of delegates is the most powerful branch of the organization because the members are the ones that make the rules that guide the organization. Therefore, if we make mistake from the board, I don't think we have an organization. But this organization, like you rightly said, I've been there for 2 years. When we took over, that is the board chair, Dr. Charles Iwejo and myself, we saw a lot that needed to be worked on from the former administrator or the former board chair. For example, I work with the board chair and the delegates to bring dignity and what I will say, peaceful conduct to the board. And somebody will say, what does that mean? The board, as a body that makes the rules, supposed to be an example of those rules. I remember when I was running for office in California, the 30 minutes they gave me to 30 seconds that I spoke, I told them if they are not going to allow me to approve the constitution of Mbaise USA, nobody should vote for me. And it's one of the things everybody knows me about Mbaise USA. And as a matter of fact, I am the Constitution Amendment Secretary, um, Mbaise USA. So one of the things we did was to look at the things that didn't work with the former administration. For example, we used to come to a meeting from 7 p.m. Central to 1:45 a.m. Central. And I called my boss, but I said, this is unheard of. We have women in this organization that are supposed to be at home, take care of their husband and their children. And here they are, 7 hours, 8 hours in a meeting. So to cut it short, the first thing we did was to make sure we are not going to stay in the meeting that long. Today, I am proud to say that most of our meetings last between 2.5 hours to no more than 3 hours when we have um, a joint meeting with the executives. Then another thing we did with the board is to work with the executive. I know so many people say, oh, working with the executive is the wrong thing to do. No, it's called teamwork. And I have been a corporate guy right from my graduation. Anywhere you work as an administrator, as a manager, you don't have the teamwork, you are going to fail as a manager. So we have to work with the executive. There is separation of power. Anybody that knows the word, the government, knows that the separation of power has to be there to check each other so that nobody will have too much power. We have those, but still, other things that needs to be done, like appointment. The former administration, I'm sorry to say it, but our former board chair was favoring people in his appointment. And this is the first time I heard the word clannish, clan in Mbaise, in which all of us are living witnesses in the campaign. I watched one of the video by Emma Onyuku yesterday. The thing that made me to laugh in that video, he said Bochia didn't know whom he was before appointing him. That's a lie. If the Bochia doesn't know the people he work with, I think I have problem with that. And secondly, he said that the reason he was appointed the ethics committee chairman was because he asked the board chair questions he cannot answer. And that to me, that's something we need to look into. Because if you are a board chair, you cannot answer questions in the meeting. You are not supposed to be in that position. And another thing I observe, which from my experience as a manager in the corporate world, looking at how that ethics committee chairman was appointed, I was in that meeting. When it was appointed, that was in June, a month before our convention in California. I objected to it. It's in our minute of the meeting because the man that is made the chairman of the ethics committee is in the same chapter, organization, with the person he is going to investigate. Plus, they are good friends or best of friends. I pointed this out in that meeting that day, but the chairman told me he has the right to do whatever, appoint, dissolve, which at the end, he succeeded. So what I'm trying to correct is the notion that the chairman didn't know who Imonyuku was before appointing him. And if you look at another thing that happened in one of the chapters in Houston, that is our former board chair's chapter. He appointed 2 life patrons from one chapter when we had 18 chapters as of that time. And all these things, or you talk about the investigation that was brought to the board that affected one of our members, Dr. Lawrence Osondo. The thing came to the board, we debated about it, and that was the end of the show. Up to today, we don't know what happened to that case. And the ethics committee, I mean, these are the reason Dr. Charles Iwejo, up to now, I still give him a lot of credit. Before he makes any decision, he will call me, two of us will be on the phone, discuss about it, he will give my own opinion. And then we call an executive meeting. Take the thing to the executive meeting, then to the board, and that's the way things are supposed to be done. So we have done a lot since we took over. From the skill acquisition, we pass it in the board. We have appointed so many women, and you can see from your interview, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, a woman is running for the director of culture. And the people are criticizing this lady that has done a lot from her family to the organization. So these are the things we need to be mindful of, because you do not
Okay,
change.
you've talked on a whole lot of areas. You just built up a case, a submission of your observations of what transpired prior to your coming. Now, looking at 2 years after, you mentioned a bit of things. What are the high points of your stewardship? What would you say are the high points? What are the things you look at, you feel you need to consolidate on them?
Okay, the most important aspect was the land acquisition in Mbaise, the Medville project, which is through Mbaise, USA. I know that so many people have said a lot, so many people have written a lot, but I have never said a word about it. I was waiting for the
So how did it really
convention.
come about, the land politics, if I may call it that? The acquisition of
Exactly.
that land, we had 5 acres. From 5 acres, we started talking about 100 acres. You are the president of Asia Lakoho, and I believe that you're in a good position to enlighten the viewing public.
Thank you, Ambassador. I was approached on the 5 acres. That was 2019 when Mbaise, USA, we wanted to build a general hospital for Mbaise. So I was approached and I made calls, and our people were so happy to see such a development in our area. So we arranged to go to Mbaise. That was Dr. Iwejo, Odozo Obodo myself, Ochiara, our president. Unfortunately, I missed my flight that day, and three of them went. The land was given, we signed the memorandum for understanding. In the process of clearing the place, the Medville project came in place. And I was called upon that one good turn, that's the word our president used. He said one good turn deserves another. That when we wanted 5 acres, yeah, people gave us this 5 acres. Do you think if they will accept this big project? I said, yeah, let me make a call. I made the call. Everything was going smoothly. But unfortunately, the guy who was running it as of that time, my good brother by name, Dr. Stan Ekezie, there was an incident. I decided to remove him because the villagers, they didn't want him in the project. So when I removed him, that's when we started having crisis. I don't know whether you were in California in 2022. I
Yeah, I
spoke
was
about
there.
this land. Val Okuna spoke about it. They started writing petition, writing all kinds of jargon, and we ignored them. We moved along, got a MOU, which I had. There was no MOU. I think on the 14th of this month, which is May, we went to Nigeria in my house. We called all the landowners. We had a total of 160 people in my house. And I brought the memorandum for understanding, showed it to them, prepared by a lawyer in Aba. So the whole crisis started when the same former board chair, Sir Wes Niwu, went to Israel and Kohu to deceive my people that the project is fake. And I think Mbaise USA has gotten a memo from the chairman of Ezelanco Development, and they posted it. My people were angry because of the lies he stated about this project that changed some people's mind. So that's how we started having all these crises. There was no crisis. Even all these things people are talking about, how did they do a groundbreaking in a field? I was laughing at them. The field, the school is part of the project. Even in the ad, we said there would be an elementary school built, a secondary school built in the same area. So we did the groundbreaking in the right place. The only thing that happened that morning, the same group of people talked to some people, gave them money that they need to demonstrate, to put armor, I don't know what to call armor in English, put the armor on the land to disgrace us, okay? And as God could have it, those demonstrations did not take place. There was a meeting in my village that early morning on Wednesday morning, the 15th, instructing everybody not to demonstrate. Our SB spoke. You guys saw him on a video. He was not planted in that video.
Okay, we all witnessed the success of that very groundbreaking, but one question remains, on the lips of Mbaise and onlookers. What next? What is going to happen next? We've had a groundbreaking, and I will appreciate, if you play down on calling names, since they're not here to defend themselves, you could just call by position and just make your case. So, what next?
I think we have done the groundbreaking. What we are waiting for is to get everything in place, and then we are planning to have a meeting, I think, next week with the investors, and we go from there. So that's where we are.
Okay. Now, let's move into the serious matter that we're here. This is Mbaise USA Decides. You are aspiring to be re-elected as the deputy board chairman of Mbaise USA. How do you articulate your vision and mission? What are your projections? What are the things you have in mind you feel that when re-elected, you ensure that this is carried out?
Thank you again, Ambassador. As you know, Mbaise as a whole is lagging behind when it comes to Imo State in terms of development. But the thing that baffles me with the campaign people talking about, most people do not know what Mbaise USA stands for. And on that note, I will thank the founding fathers who had this vision to form this mighty organization. I know when they were forming it, they didn't know it will get to this point. But a lot has to be achieved in order to sustain it. I think in California, I had some discussion with some group of people when they were telling me, Cliff, you just joined this organization and this and that. I said, no, that's not how organization works. Because Walmart was created by one individual. But as he grows, he started getting CEO from Harvard to come and help him manage the place. So Mbaise USA is no longer that mama and papa shop. It's no longer a sole proprietor. And that's why you need qualified individuals. And the reason anybody that can tell the truth, that is one from Mbaise, we know that the word Mbaise USA started in 2018. That's when the name became a household name. And the people made it to be that way. And that's why I say I have to thank the founding fathers. So, knowing fully well where we come from, all this division in the Mbaise, the first thing we need to do in the convention is to bridge those divisions. How do we do it? We need to amend our constitution. The constitution needs to be amended Once it is amended, um, for example, this clannish idea, I have so many friends from Mbaise, Ayazu, Eziliste, and I'm not going to allow any person to devise those by bringing, oh, this president is from this president is from that. And that's why the amendment is so important to stop those. I know you say do not call names, but it's good to mention names of people who are causing so that people can talk to them and say, I watched this guy's video, and what I heard, if you are doing this place, you need to stop it. So, knowing fully well that Mbaise is lagging behind in Imo State in development, Mbaise USA is a non-profit organization. And for people who do not know, that organizations, one important aspect of organization is people of common goal that come together to achieve their mission. So if you are dividing it, you don't belong to Mbaise USA. So all we need to do is to look at all we can do for ourselves here, all we can do for our people in Nigeria. And the only thing that has come in play today is the Medview project. If actualized, will help Mbaise to be on the world map as one of the developed places in the world, not in Imo State, not in Nigeria. It will help our youths that are helpless in Mbaise to have jobs. There are so many benefits for this project. And seeing any Mbaise citizen who is opposing it, to me, I don't know what to say
Okay,
about that.
you've made your point. One of the key elements, why you want to be there is to ensure that we're able to drive this developmental project, to success. And you did
Yes.
make an analogy that from the inception of Mbaise USA, that's in 2008, it only gained visibility by 2018 when this administration started. Why would you say that? Briefly.
Briefly, in every company, like I use Walmart. When Walmart started, nobody knew them until they started going worldwide. When Mbaise USA started, I used to belong to the World Igbo Congress. I was the first president of World Igbo Congress here in San Antonio. And that one was, when you talk about crisis, we had crisis because it was between Anambra, whatever versus Mbaise versus, I mean, that one was crazy. But the reason I made that comment is, look at their financial record. From 2008, it's not like we are blaming the people that, no, they did a great job. But when you have the famous language SOSA uses that everybody adopted now is when you put the round peg in a round hole, it produces a lot. Even in the corporate world, the for-profit organization I have been part of, being a manager in a big lab I created to be one of the largest in the US. What we look at as achievement is we started a lab with 2 employees. In 5 years, you have 200 employees. Your revenue goes from maybe 5 million to 200 million. That's what we call success. And that's exactly what is happening in Mbaise since 2018. From Virginia to California to Dallas. I have been to all these conventions. So it's only a blind man that will say that Mbaise USA, the dream of the founding fathers, has been achieved in its own total potential. But somebody needs to maintain it. Because if you look at the American politics, every time a Republican comes into power, they destroy the economy, a Democrat will go back there and rebuild it. That's their cycle. We don't want that to happen in Mbaise USA. So that's why I said earlier on, if it is not broken, why do you want to fix it? The board is in a better position today than it was 4 years ago. So anybody coming to fix the board, I don't know what they're coming to fix.
Okay, just going forward, let's look at the area of the constitution of Mbaise USA. There have been a lot of agitations and calls for certain amendments You've been the secretary of the Constitution Review and Constitution Amendment, and also sitting in that very position. You've worked in the law courts, coordinated court sittings and operation court system in America. So, and you've been involved in all sorts of things, managing men and resources, extending to all other things. What are the key elements of the things you feel deserves to be given attention?
Okay, the Constitution, like I said, the founding fathers, including the American Constitution, no Constitution is perfect, and that's why you have amendment, including the U.S. amendment, the U.S. Constitution. I'm sorry. The founding fathers, when they started it, they had in mind they wanted to bring Mbaise together, okay, where they can have a say in the affairs of Mbaise back home and here. And if you look at the Constitution, I remember when Imoyuku in his video, he was saying that the reason he was removed, or he didn't know the reason. If you look at me, I am laughing about it. Somebody was appointed the chairman of the ethics committee. You were given a mandate to give us a report in 90 days. 90 days, there was no report. We extended it. After the extension, there was no result. So we have to kick him out. Okay? So things like that, because you cannot have a constitution where the board chair can do whatever he wants to do, appoint somebody who is not qualified to be in the ethics committee. Look at what Iwejo and I did in the appointment. We have 2 lawyers in the ethics committee because I have worked in the court of law here in the US. The reason is if we bring anything against Ambassador Iwejo Ayozie to the ethics committee, the lawyer is going to look at it and say, whoa, what are you guys sending to us? But you give it to somebody who does not know the law, they can put Mbaise USA in trouble. And that's the avenue, because when the ethics committee look at what happened to Vincent Okroha, they made 3 recommendations that he committed this, number 1, committed this, number 2, and the rest, they didn't find anything wrong with that. And they recommended, because the Constitution did not state any punishment, and they stated that we should not sanction him. And I was one of the people that agree on that notion, because the ethics committee gave us their findings just like a jury giving a judge whatever the verdict is, and the judge said, I'm not going to take it. It pissed so many people off that there were 3 things mentioned that he violated in the Constitution, and he was not sanctioned or suspended. But what I told them, the Constitution didn't state clearly what needs to be done after this individual committed such an offense. And those are the things we are going to do amendment in, so that if somebody does it tomorrow, it's not going to be vague anymore. And that's why the Constitution is so important, both in the state level, the federal organization, even for-profit organization. Their SOP, they don't play with it. The standard of operation, they don't play with it.
Okay. Time is no longer our friend. I would like to wind up, because we'll continue to have this conversation. I know that time will not accommodate all that you need to say, but I'd like to take you on your last word to enlighten us, or your admonition or your projection looking at Mbaise going forward, and what could happen. This is an election. There is a competition between you and one other person. Should you lose or win, what would be your action in ensuring that we have the best working for Mbaise USA?
Thank you, Ambassador. Our election is either you win, you lose. That's the human nature. It's not a place to kill one another. I remember when I ran with this guy, Prince Chizom Ayamu from Atlanta. It was one of the best matchup. He called me, he said, Cliff, I didn't know you are the one I'm running against. And I cracked a joke. I said, why can't you drop? Okay, 2 of us will laugh. I talked to him up to today. You can call him, he is a friend of mine. I don't call him an enemy, he is a friend. I think we talked maybe about 2 months ago. Election, if I lose the election, which I'm not going to lose anyway, it is my job to pass my experience to whoever they're going to occupy that position. Because I have ample experience both in the managerial and leadership, okay, in non-profit organization. So it is my duty to assist whoever they're gonna be on that chair, because whatever I'm doing to him is to help him be said to move forward. I'm not going to be an obstacle because I lost an election where I'm gonna say no, 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 no. He is not going to progress. No, that's stupidity. If I love him, they say USA. If I don't win the election, my job is to work with whoever that replaces me and say, sir, this is what we did that made this place a little bit better during our own time.
Well, I think I left the best for the last because I know that in Dallas Convention, when we had the Dallas Convention, we had the Pioneer Cultural Pageant where we had the first Adam Mbaise USA and Opara Mbaise USA. And you were fortunate to be the father of the pioneer Adam Mbaise. What's the feeling been like, since that time till now?
My dear brother, like I always joke with you whenever I talk to you, two people have made me so famous. You, when people call Cliff, I don't care whether it's Ambassador Cliff, I have to answer. Okay? And my daughter now, people that didn't know me before, they, I mean, everybody, oh, you are the father of Adam Mbaise. So the feeling is so good. I mean, it's a pressure thing. And this is the reason all of us have to put our hands together to make him be said, work better, prosper. Because everything we are not doing it for ourselves. We are doing it for the children who gonna take after us. So Adam Mbaise has made me so popular, made me so proud. You were the MC here in San Antonio when we celebrated him. You saw how much she raised for our organization, Ụmụnna Wike that day. So it's a good feeling, and I will do everything in my power to make him be say USA, work better, be in peace, not all these crises we are having. And that's why I stated earlier that the first thing we need to do during the convention is to do some amendment to stop all this bickering in all this campaign. And it's an easy thing to do because we did it in the board of delegates. The board of delegates used to be a place where everybody used to post their junk. And the first thing my board chair and myself did was to have a meeting. And he said, Cliff, what do we do to stop this? I said, it's easy. The board of delegate forum is like the bulletin board in anybody's office. You don't go there to write. You don't go there to complain. If somebody pisses you off at work, what do? You go to HR to complain. We have the same procedure in Mbaise USA. If something goes wrong, you write to the board of delegates, who will in turn send it to the ethics committee. Why do you have to go to the forum to disgrace one another? And to be honest with you, if re-elected, the first thing we need to do, the same thing we did in the board of delegate forum, we need to do it in Mbaise US board forum, in which we have to make it a place for information only. If you have anything to say, write to the board of delegates, write their
Well,
secretary
on
or the.
that note, I'd like to say a special thank you to you. And I'd like to also give a special shout out to Adam Mbaise and Opara Mbaise, who both volunteered to take care of our kids in Raleigh, North Carolina convention. When the adults will be having their gala night, they volunteered to oversee the comfort and safety of our kids. This information was relayed to us by the Director of Children, Lady Lindsay Commissioner. So I thank you so much. This is Mbaise USA Decides, and our guest has been Honorable Cliff Opara, candidate for re-election as Deputy Board Chairman of the Board of Delegates of Mbaise, USA. I thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you, Ambassador.